This is The Basketball Show with Shane the Hammer Heel. What they gonna say next?
Hi guys, great to be with you this week and great to have my sidekick back as well, Shane Hill. How you doing? How's
Fresh shirt. No mention, fresh shirt.
Sorry, I should have. How was Melbourne?
Very good. Couple of pre-season wins, which was great. So looking forward to the season starting.
Yeah, we will talk more about the WNBL shortly because of course it tips off on Wednesday night. But first, a quick shout out to our sponsors TCL Mobile, 2K23 and UPCOZ. Let's get the spotlight out to get this going. All right, Hammer, you want to talk about the NBL this week.
It's me, is it?
The floor is yours.
My segment. Well, we're 8 games in, and we've been big supporters of the NBL. Nothing but positivity between Larry and Jeremy and what they've done. The quality of the NBL we've spoken about, all the imports, the next stars that we've pumped up, the coaches challenge, the success with the NBL and the NBL relationships. And all the time we do that of them. Oh, and don't forget Tassie. How good a job that they did with getting Tassie in. Not once did I get a phone call.
Okay.
Not once. But I put out a tweet on Saturday night about the chemistry of the commentators, and within 1 minute I got a phone call saying that you can't say that. Well, I can say that, and I'm going to talk about it because we're 8 games in, and I like the fact that leagues experiment. If we didn't experiment with commentators, we wouldn't have great commentators like Liam Santamaria and Peter Hooley that have come in the last couple of years and been really elite at what they do. Were you saying you too?
Yeah.
You don't commentate, you're sideline. So that's what you do. But we're 8 games in. I reckon right now there would have been, and this is a guess, maybe there's 25 different combinations of 3 in the hub and 2 on the sideline. I don't know that. But if you look at the great leagues, you look at the NBA, you have your key teams. You create chemistry. You look at the AFL on Channel 7, they've got their key teams. Same with the NRL. And if I turn on and there's a big game on a Friday night, I want to see John Casey. I want to see Drewy and Copes because the combination. I want to see Jack Heverin. I think Cam Luke can be calling more games. Liam and Peter Hooley and Homicide. But you create teams. As a commentator, when you're just thrown in the mix with different people, it takes time to be able to learn what people do. You're always about to go, you're talking, you're trying to create different play-by-play guys you have to adjust to when you're a colour commentator. It takes time. That's why you create teams that are carefully built to be able to complement each other. And so far that hasn't been done often enough. Now's the time they need to be able to do that. That's chemistry. That's taking the next step. Can I go on to point 2?
Please.
We're 8 games in, so this is revision. As a team, you're always looking at the things you're doing great, you're looking at the things you need to improve on. Delay a game.
Yes.
I saw a delay a game on the weekend, Keanu Pinder. He got fouled out of the game. So we fouled out our superstar. I think he got a tech foul for this. He got fouled and took a shot that may have been a continuation. It probably was never going to be, but he took a shot. That's what you're supposed to do. It took more time to call a tech foul, go down, shoot the free throws, and that whole rule is designed to be able to save time. It actually made the game longer. We need to look at it carefully. And the last part is broadcast. New broadcast. I watched that Sydney Kings game, and what a finish it was. The Kings to be able to win on the buzzer, Kawhi Noy on his birthday goes bang, and I'm like, I can't wait to see the replay. You go to the celebrations, there wasn't a replay. I wanted 3 angles. I wanted to see how did Cairns break down. I wanted to see the angle of him hitting the shot with the shot clock because it started at 0.9 seconds. I wanted to see, did it go off with 0.1 of a second? How close was it? I wanted to see the angle from the baseline so we can talk about what a player was or who broke down on defense. We didn't get a replay. Did I go to sleep or was there a replay?
I was at the game. I have no idea.
Okay.
Sorry.
I'm pretty sure, I'll stand to be corrected, but I'm pretty sure there wasn't a replay. I wanted a replay. So there's just 3 points after 8 games that I think that we can make improvements after, obviously pointing out all of the great things about the NBL. Over 34 years as a player, a coach and a commentator.
Love a bit of constructive criticism.
That's what it is. Take it how it was presented.
Well said. Well said. It would be remiss if we didn't mention the WNBL beginning this week to kick off our TCL starting five. It all begins on Wednesday, grand final rematch, Perth Lynx and Melbourne Boomers. I'm looking forward to Saturday, Southside Flyers against Adelaide Lightning, which will be a lot of fun. Yeah, some stars in action for sure. From your point of view, what are the sort of strongest teams we should be looking out for on paper this season?
Yeah, I think on paper you've got to go with Southside. Lauren Jackson, what a great thing it is to have for the WNBL that she's back in the league. Superstar, the greatest of all time. And they've got a terrific import and a whole lot of opals as well. So they'll be tough. The Boomers have got 3 WNBA players, 3 opals, 5 players combined that do the both. And Townsville are going to be a tough team. Shannon Seabomb's just a champion coach. So, but it's going to be really tight. I mean, we say it every year, but this is really going to be a tight season.
You're not putting your guys up in that sort of teams to watch on paper?
We are going to be the youngest team in the league, but I think we'll be really competitive.
Yeah.
I'm really comfortable with our pre-season, but got a good bunch of girls that get along well, they play hard. We can, we'll put some points on the board too.
I cannot wait to see you guys out there. A bye first week and then Bendigo next week?
Bendigo, we've got 4 games on the road to start with. So we've got Bendigo, Perth, Adelaide and Southside, if you don't mind. So yeah, didn't get any favours with that, but looking forward to the challenge. We're going to turn it into an opportunity.
Yeah, love it, love it. Talking about opportunities and taking them with both hands, Jock Landale is balling for the Suns. I read somewhere that someone said he's the captain of their second unit at the moment. He's killing it over there, isn't he?
Well, and you told me before that he's only guaranteed $47,000 for his contract. So for him to have a non-guaranteed contract to come out and play the sort of basketball he is huge. Not only for him being retained by Phoenix, but if he doesn't, then he's going to be really valuable for someone else. He's an NBA quality player. I think he could play there for the next 10 years and, you know, the longer he goes, he'll just continue to carve out a really valuable role. Yeah,
nice to see them running plays through him for certain points in his last couple of games as well. I've got to ask about the Wildcats and their imports, Tayshaun Thomas and in particular, I suppose, Brady Manick, who has not been stuffing the stat sheet in the last few games.
Big question marks. I mean, I watched his game the other day against Southeast Melbourne and I was looking for him to step up and make something happen. The very first play of the game, Creek just manhandled him, just came straight down. This was, I think, the first play of the game, just came down one-on-one, no siree. He finished his last game, he had 1 for 5, 4 points in 17 minutes, 0 rebounds, 0 assists. Now, Perth Wildcats are known for waiting until they make changes. And this kid was a really good college player, but it hasn't translated into the pros. They have to make a move. You know, last year they waited that long, they couldn't actually get their guy through the deadline, ended up playing without making that change. So don't be surprised if something happens with them because, what are they, 3 and 4 or something like that, start the season? Yeah,
where are they on the ladder? They're... I'm going to do this manually. 1, 2, 3, 4. They're 5th, 3 and 3. 3 and 3. Yeah, I do.
They're 5th. I do. And not that they can't make a change or they can't come back. They've got a roster that, you know, it can be as good as anybody in the league. But I don't think they want to wait too long on this. And they would know much more than us, being able to watch every practice. So they'll know deep down whether he's going to be up to it or whether he just needs time.
What about Southeast Melbourne? A couple of big wins over the weekend. They pipped the Wildcats by 1 point, and then that massive win against the 36ers, really tough down the stretch as well. What have you made of them now that they've got sort of their full contingent back?
Well, I mean, there was huge question marks early, but they had a chunk of players out, and Creek definitely wasn't fit. We all knew that, he knew that, and wasn't playing to the level that he is now. And what they did on the weekend against Adelaide, and Simon Mitchell said this, is they haven't got a history of being able to close out tight games. I tell you, Trey Cal, he was incredible in the second half and overtime. Just poised, could make shots when they needed. Didn't look like he was trying to do anything outside of his skill set. And they're tough. 3 in a row for them. They've got momentum. Right now, they're as hot as any team in the league.
I was going to ask, genuine contenders?
I think they have to be. And over time, we'll see whether they can continue to build, but they've certainly got the right pieces in place to be able to contend with anyone right now.
The New Zealand Breakers are on top of the ladder for the first time in 4 years, I think it is. I'm so here for this. I love it.
Well, hats off to their coach, Mayor. Like, he's just been able to go and recruit a team that is right now the best defensive team in the league. Now, the challenge is for them to be able to continue to do it. But they've got 3 good imports that all play hard, all play together, all understand their role. But I like 3 additions that they picked up. Vodonovic, Lear for that man on screen, and Glidden. 3 guys that can all defend, play their role, they can hit shots, complement the imports, and they've just been impressive. And you know, when I talk about Southeast Melbourne being one of the hottest teams in the league, New Zealand finally getting back home, have had big wins on the road. They're a complete side right now. The challenge is for these teams to be able to continue on as the season goes on.
Yeah, some massive blowouts, 32 against Tassie and 29 against the 36ers.
And Tassie have been great.
Yeah.
They just dismantled them. Great defence. Like really impressive to watch.
No, it's been good. We've got to keep things moving. We have a special guest coming up.
Breaking all the big news in basketball with Matt Logue.
All right, Matty Logue is in the house for the Logue Down. Matty, always plenty happening in the world of hoops news. Player online abuse is on the rise, though, at the moment. What's the situation?
Yeah, it's a huge story, guys. It's been on the rise for the last year, coinciding with, obviously, sports betting becoming a bigger thing in sport. But NBL players are getting regular death threats from punters who are losing their multis. It escalated on the weekend. Gary Brown at the Phoenix import there, he received a death threat saying, "I hope you kill yourself. I hope you do your ACL. You're a dog." I can't go into some of the other words, not very nice. But basically the integrity unit at Basketball Australia / the NBL, they've got a division for this now where the players are sending screenshots so they can ascertain if the threats are real. And the players that I've spoken to a lot, they're really concerned. They're fed up. I know we've spoken about this for a long time, and Shane, you see this a lot, you know, throughout professional careers, but they want players or people's names on the Twitter account. It can't just be anonymous, because I think that's the only thing that's going to fix this problem, guys. Accountability.
The integrity unit is fantastic. They're there to protect the game and the players and the coaches and everything else. They speak to every club every season, and I've been pushing for Twitter to have to put up your licence so then people can actually be accountable for their comments, because they wouldn't come and say it to your face. So they say these sort of things, they need to be penalised, and the sooner that happens, the better it is for everybody. Not just in sport, but in life.
We touched on the delay of game already. What is the NBL stance on this, though?
Yeah, the NBL is standing their ground. They're saying we've spoken to the clubs in the pre-season. They were aware that it was coming. The delay of game, that, you know, after a call's been blown, if a player shoots, then there'll be delay of game. But blatantly, as Shane has pointed out already, there are calls that are incorrect. The players have all called it out on the weekend. The NBL is saying they're on the right track. Well, I'm going to call BS on that. Like, they're not. Because their main customers, the players, are not happy, and it's not an agenda or anything. They're just, as you point out, Jane, there's some just calls that are wrong, and respective voices in the game are saying it, and certain people within the league believe it, but the messaging is very different. So I just think we just need to keep going hard on it.
Interesting. Nothing to add?
Oh, I've already spoken about the Pinder one was one for me, but
Yeah, it wasn't.
Anyway, we'll see what happens.
Imports under the pump. Talk to me.
Yeah, well, Shane's mentioned Brady Manick, big man at Perth. There is a probation for new imports that clubs can insert a probation 8 weeks.
Yep.
So that is something that if it goes past that, they work out a payout figure. But geez, you know, someone like Manick's under pressure. Obviously, we've seen Caroline, and I'll get your opinion on that. There's whispers that JLA is in China and unhappy, and his family's here. That won't go away. Melbourne United won't give us anything, which that's pretty normal. But let's be honest. But Caroline, you've got an opinion on that, Shane.
Well, I just think with the Caroline situation, everyone's been upfront to say that they're going to move on from him. Dean Vickerman was scolded for his comments, and rightly so, but then did a big backflip the next day and said he's a warrior and all the rest of it. And now all of a sudden he's got an injury. I just think that they've worked things out. You know, his stocks aren't getting any higher playing for Melbourne United. He needs to get another job, and rightly so. So they've probably just put him on the sideline whilst they're trying to find somebody else, and that's it.
They needed that win against the Hawks. You saw how emotional XRM was, speaking about how tough their week was after the game. You can understand there's a lot happening behind the scenes there. So
no doubt.
Hopefully things are on the up for United. Matty, thanks for all the insight.
That's all right. More to come. We'll just stay on those phones.
Okay, guys, Derek Rucker is joining us now as we go crystal gazing to look into what is happening in round 6. First up, Hammer, I'll come to you with this one though. The Hawks are taking on the Adelaide 36ers. Both teams coming off of a loss. What happens?
It is impossible for me to pick the Illawarra Hawks with the way they're playing right now. Even with Seaver, he's talking about himself being one of the best guards in the world. He can't save them. And the Adelaide 36ers, with all that talent, they have to bounce back. They've got talent. They have to play D. They can put points on the board though.
Derek, the second game on Thursday night, the Wildcats take on the Jack Jumpers over there in Perth. That's a tough one.
Something tells me that Tassie may bounce back after that demolition we saw in New Zealand, but I think Perth are going to be hungrier. Perth.
Maddie?
I'm going Tassie just by the way on that.
Maddie, next up, Cairns are hosting Melbourne.
Yeah, look, Cairns have been outstanding lately, and I just can't tip Melbourne United until they get real reinforcements. Shaylee will be an addition, but I just think Cairns will be too strong again.
Tasmania take on Brisbane Hammer on Saturday night. Who gets the dub?
I'm going Tassie again to bounce back for a double. It's just in their culture. They don't take losses very well. It'll be a narky week at training, one on the road and one at home for Tassie.
Just when we thought Brisbane were getting back to winning ways. Okay. Dee, coming to you next. The 36ers are hosting the Wildcats. What are you predicting?
Tough one. Adelaide need to put it together, especially offensively. They need to share the ball a bit more. And defensively, if they can just lift their intensity a little bit, they'll win a lot more games. And I suspect they'll put it together. Adelaide over Perth.
Matt, next up, the Breakers are hosting the Kings off the back of that insane win they had over the Taipans the other night. Who wins?
The league-leading Breakers, who would have thought? I just think the Kings' experience gets the job done here. As good as the Breakers have been, I think the Kings can go over there. They'll be more composed in the big moments and they'll win a close one.
Last up in round 6, Hammer, Melbourne Derby.
I tell you what, if the Kings win that game in New Zealand, it'll be their biggest win of the season. Who have I got?
Melbourne against South East Melbourne.
Oh, I couldn't tip Melbourne over South East Melbourne. South East Melbourne have strung 3 in a row, looking good. They've got all of their players on the same page. Great role players. I've been really impressed with their imports. Now Mitch Creek is back to full strength, full fitness as well. They're a team to be reckoned with.
All right, I am told next week we will have a leaderboard as well, so I'll keep
Yes,
you
we will.
updated on who is winning. Hammer, it's probably not you.
I won last year.
Thanks, guys. Well, thanks to 2K23, we are taking you to LA now. That's where we find New Orleans Pels rookie Dyson Daniels. Dyson, thank you so much for being on the show. It's been a while since we spoke to you. It was back before the draft, in fact. How are things? I know you're out with an ankle injury at the moment, but how's the whole NBA experience been?
Yeah, no, it has been a while since we last talked, but it's been great, since I got drafted. The few months, leading up to the season, it's been a lot of work in the gym, working on things I need to work on. Unfortunately, had a few ankle sprains and stuff like that, but nothing too major. But just adjusting to the NBA life, trying to get myself, back out there on the floor, getting into the rhythm of things. But I'm really enjoying it. Our team's great. We're going really well. Teammates, the guys they bring us in really well. We've got a great team chemistry and do stuff on the floor and off the floor together. So, but I'm loving the life so far.
Well, mate, first of all, congratulations. We said when you were on the show you're going to be a top 10 pick, so we were really proud of you getting drafted at number 8. Well done. What's been the biggest surprise? I mean, you go from Bendigo and all the training and everything to private planes and the suite that we can see there. It must be mind-blowing.
Yeah, it is. The biggest surprise, there's a lot of surprises. But for me, I knew the NBA life was great, but really just how we get treated. We got people we can go to for literally anything. Anything we need help with. We got trainers that, if we got a sore knee, they'll come rub us. Give us a massage at like 2 a.m. So, got everyone on call for anything we need. The life's great. Get to, like you said, the private planes and things like that. I enjoy doing that stuff, living the life, good food, good hotels. But I think the NBA life, it's been a surprise to me on how we get treated and how high end it is.
You said that you guys have got a really good team chemistry. Who in the team are you sort of looking up to or leaning on as a mentor? I guess from the outside, you'd look at it and you'd say, okay, like CJ, Larry Nance, those guys with a bit more experience.
Yeah. The older guys, we got really good vets on our team. Like you said, CJ, Larry, Garrett Temple's a big one. He's been in the league a long time, and he's a very good vocal leader, and leads by example. And we got like even the younger guys on the team, like Jose, Trey Murphy, like BI, these guys, they're really good at, just talking to you and pointing you in the right direction and telling you where you need to be, what you need to do. So they really look out for you. And, we got really good young and old, leaders on this team that I'm learning off every day.
Mate, your body type is NBA ready. You're a great defender. You've got a really good all-round game. But what are the things you've learnt most once you've got into it, starting to watch those veterans play, watching video? Where are the areas that you think you can continue to improve?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of areas that I need to improve. My three-point shot, it's come a long way, but I'm working hard on that. Being able to, space the floor, especially having people like, Ingram and Zion and CJ on the floor who are really good at creating for others. And obviously my defense is my NBA ready skills, so that's what's getting me on the floor at the moment. But I'm just learning my spots, picking and choosing where I can help the team. Obviously getting out in transition, defending, because we got a lot of offensive power. There's certain holes in our team that need to be filled, and I'm just looking to do the little things.
Zion's obviously back this season. You guys had the win today. He had 21, 12 and 7. What does he like to play alongside?
No, Zion's great. He's a freak of nature, and there's no one really like Zion. The way he's able to use his explosiveness and his strength, get to the basket, and he just sucks defenses in. Like, sometimes you see 5 people in the paint, when he's got the ball. So he's really good to play with. You get a lot of open shots when you play with him. So, I love playing with Z.
You've had family, friends, everybody obviously over there. Have they been as blown away as you watching some of these superstars that you're playing against? Sometimes I felt like I was sitting on the bench and I wish I had my best mate with me to be able to share the experience of watching, some of these unbelievable stars.
Yeah, no, my family, friends, they're all blown away. Obviously, growing up as a kid, all my friends and stuff and family watch the NBA, so to see them seeing me playing in is it's pretty surreal, and it's great. My dad's side is out in Charlotte, so when we played them, I was able to get the whole family out there to come support and watch the game, and I was able to catch up with them after the game. So it really is special, being able to be involved in the NBA and have my family and friends alongside me.
We've obviously got the World Cup coming up next year. How much of that, from an Australian point of view, and the Boomers are you focused on? And how often do you get to catch up with the other guys? Your Josh Giddey's, I know you've played a lot with him. Joey Ingles as a mentor. What's that like, seeing those guys and now playing against them in the NBA?
Yeah, no, those guys have obviously been great mentors for me growing up. Being part of the Australian system, the Boomers, and the juniors and stuff like that. It's special, and for me, I'm focused on, the NBA right now that's my main goal. But, after the season when the Boomers and the World Cup's coming up, that's going to be my main focus for sure. And, I want to make that team, and, any opportunity I get to represent Australia, the Boomers, I'm going to take, because, it's special being a part of that team and that culture. So I'm looking forward to, that, but, looking at the NBA season right now.
Yeah, it's funny because that's what you have to do. You got to look at what you're doing, what you get paid to do. But it's really exciting as an ex-Boomer and a fan now of the Boomers to think you and Josh Giddey are coming into that lineup, and the foundation's been laid to be able to win a bronze medal, for you guys to come in with a different culture, because the culture's so different than the NBA when you get a chance to put on the green and gold, and I think you're going to fit perfectly.
Yeah, no, for sure. The green and gold's special, and obviously, people like you and the guys that come before me, playing for the Boomers have built that, that legacy and that culture. And, last year winning the bronze medal, it shows, we're one of the powerhouses in the world now. We've got some great players, and, we're looking to, go get that gold. So, I'm excited for, what's ahead for the Boomers, and, I'm looking forward to the opportunity to hopefully, play in a World Cup next year.
We look forward to seeing you in the green and gold a lot more, and also to see the progress and everything that you can achieve with the Pels this season. Dyson, thanks so much for joining us, and best of luck with everything.
Kick it, mate.
No worries, I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Right, time now for Points Made, thanks to UPCOZ. Make sure you head to their website and check out the latest NBA and NBL markets and promos. Dee is still with us.
Like you call him former MVP. You've got any intro? Proper intro today. You had homework.
We've already had him on a segment.
Doesn't matter. Give me something. Not former MVP.
Dee, how would you like to be introduced? The Prince of the Brisbane River. I don't know.
Okay.
Hey, that sounds good, Joe. Let's go with that one.
the king of Brisbane, something like that. Can we talk about the cluster that is the Lakers? What on earth is happening, and how do they fix it?
Well, one thing I'm glad to see not happening as much now, Joe, is that they've taken the blame off of Russell Westbrook a bit. He had to sit out a game or two, and we saw the results didn't change. In fact, I thought they looked less passionate. One thing about Russ, you got to give him credit, Shane. He plays hard every night. And, you know, as we speak and are recording this, they're playing the Denver Nuggets, and it's a tight game. I think the Lakers have edged ahead just momentarily, and Russ is having a really good game. Look, the guy's a professional. He always has been. He's just deficient in an area that is very popular right now and very important, which is shooting. We know he can't do that, so don't ask him to do that. Now, for the other two big stars, LeBron James and Anthony Davis, they've been putting up good numbers, but the numbers haven't been impactful. And you can't really expect that from LeBron coming into his 20th season. It's hard to expect him to influence games majorly night after night. Anthony Davis is the one that's got to get it going for this team. The guy is 2 weeks away from always being out for the season. He's still putting up good numbers, Shane, but I think they've been hollow. He needs to perform at an elite level and carry his team to winning. And even if he's willing to carry it to losses, I'd rather that than just playful indifference.
I think you've said it all. I think you've summed it up because for me, the team just hasn't been built right. So they're just going to be ravaging each game, trying to find ways to, scrounge a win here and there, because I just don't think they've got the right personnel. The only thing they can do is blow it up or just do that week to week.
Guys,
well, there's been a lot of rumors also. There's also been the rumors, though, that Danny Ainge may go after Westbrook because Utah's playing well. I think they may have won again today, and that's not in the plan for Danny Ainge. Danny Ainge wants to be in a position to get that number one pick, so he can blow that thing up in Utah by making some moves. And one of the moves would be to acquire Westbrook and then buy him out and let him go elsewhere. So that's on the cards as well.
What about the Nets? They're one off the bottom in the East. They just look really unorganised. They're bumping into each other out there. Dee, how are you seeing that situation?
They never should have got rid of James Harden.
Oh, please. Oh, please.
Poke the bear. I dare you.
Hey, look, right now, James Harden's Philly team looks pretty solid. They took some lumps earlier, but that had nothing to do with James. That was totally to do with Embiid not really being prepared. But look, let's go back to Brooklyn. Kyrie, can you just play basketball and leave the social activism for another time, or set up a foundation and have a CEO who's going to speak on behalf of you? Because, again, over the weekend...
He can't do that. History says he can't do that.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. But this is my wish for him because he's playing really good basketball. You can't deny what he's doing on the court. But it's such a distraction, and it's come out again. And now he's put the owner in a bad situation where the owner had to speak out against one of his two-star players. And I think Kevin Durant is starting to enter into that early stage of what I said about LeBron. Can he still impact games like he used to? I'm not sure. And then maybe I buried the lead, Joe, but Ben Simmons is really struggling, Shane. Look, I see he's putting up all-around numbers, but nowhere near the numbers that we would expect from him. Granted, he needs a little bit of time, but right now, I wouldn't say he's trending at all.
It's hard to argue with any of that, but I think the combination, knowing that Durant doesn't want to be there, Kyrie's on a different planet, Ben needs more time, isn't necessarily passionate about taking his game to another level for the whole time that he's out, just blows that thing up, and it's always going to be a struggle. They've got the talent, but they're not going to get the results.
Closer to home, guys, in the NBL, I want to ask about Craig Randall and the 36ers. There's definitely something happening there. There's a little bit of tension. You've got this amazing individual player, but perhaps not the best fit culturally for the club. Hammer, what would you do in this situation, and what are you seeing from him?
Well, it's hard because he is an incredible talent. He can win a game off his own bat. We've spoken about that. An incredible shooter, great athlete, can score without even having to include his teammates and everything else. But he made a comment the other day about saying he didn't grow up winning and everything. And I think when you look at his habits, you look at his attitude and his behaviours, key cultural aspects, that he hasn't been around people that are winners, that have the right habits. And he needs to learn that. You know, there was a photo of him disengaged from his teammates, and he came back and had to say that people are trying to create, you know, a disconnect between him and his teammates and saying he's a bad teammate. And that on his own doesn't make him a bad teammate. But when you see his reactions in timeouts and arguing and so emotional with everything that he's doing, he sucks so much energy out of that group by coaches and teammates always having to cater to him. And I think for him to evolve as a player, he needs to learn from it and learn to be a good teammate. For him to get back to the NBA, because he's an NBA talent.
Yeah, I'm going to tap into the playing side. One thing I'd like to see him do, because look, pictures are taken at different times. Who knows the context of that photo, although it doesn't look great. I wouldn't want to be in that situation, picture like that, where everyone else is hugged up and I'm out there on an island. But look, I would like to see him run the offense better. Come down. Shane, I would have been surprised as a point guard if he threw 5 good entry passes yesterday to start the offense. Everything was dribble, 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 dribble. I want to see him kick the ball ahead, make a good lead pass, initiate it with a cut. Those types of things. I think with his playing, he can endear himself to not only his teammates more, but he can also kind of soften that criticism from the media, because he does leave himself open with some of the other behaviors. But look, he is a fantastic talent and probably one of the best marketing pieces that the NBL has currently.
I want to ask about one more import before we finish. Peyton Siva, who signed with the Hawks, he's played a couple of games with them now. Hammer, what is it about Americans coming out here and saying they're the best player in the league?
Well, he didn't just say he was the best player in the league. He was quoted. He said he's one of the best guards in the world as he was sitting there without a job. Now, I don't know why he's without a job. He's a good player. He's a solid player. We've seen him. You don't have to tell us how good you are because we've seen you. And he is. He's a good pickup for the Illawarra Hawks. But if he's as good as what he says he is, he's going to be able to take a pretty average team all the way to the playoffs. And I just don't see that happening. I think he's been solid. He's a really good passer, has a good feel for the game, and he'll have some really good games in the NBL. But I'm not sure he's as good as what he said he was.
Well, I'm not sure your analysis there is fair on my man. Look, he can't take that team to the playoffs. Look, there'd be some guys like Steph Curry. Steph Curry couldn't take that team to the playoffs.
Okay,
I'm going to tell you straight up. They don't have enough. And look, I thought he did a good job the other day of getting that team to compete against a stronger Melbourne United team.
I think I just said that.
No, you didn't. You said he should be able to take that team to the playoffs.
If he's one of the best guards in the world, then he has to be able to back it up. I said he's a good player. He's been solid. He was really good the other night. He's a great passer, got a good feel for the game. But he's not taking Illawarra anywhere because they're not good enough. If he was the best guard in the world, he would.
The reality is
I would love to know.
Tyler Harvey needs to do more also. So get off Siva's back. Harvey needs to pick up his end, and Siva needs to learn the league and get in there and be the contributor and show us that, hey, you know what? Be the 3rd best point guard in this league.
Harvey didn't say he's the best guard in the league.
All right, guys, that's all we've got time for. I would love to know from the viewers out there if Steph Curry was placed in that roster for the Illawarra Hawks, whether they actually would be able to win the chip.
Why is he hating on Steph Curry all the time?
Why are you hating on James Harden all the time?
You know I love Steph. Don't even start with me right now. It's Monday. I'm hot.
That's all we've got time for. Obviously, it's a massive week across the NBL and the NBA, but also with Australian racing, the Melbourne Cup. So don't forget to head to UPCOZ for all the markets there. Dee, enjoy the race tomorrow, the race that stops the nation, of course. That's all we've got time for. You enjoy it too.
Will do. I'll be at practice, but that's okay.
That's all right. It's all right. I'll have a dabble for you.
Yeah, good on you. Thank you.
Right, that's all we've got time for. Before we go, though, Hammer, shout out to Alex McNaught and Ryan Brokoff over the weekend. They're the only 2 players that I saw that actually committed to the Halloween theme. This is Alex McNaught as Spider-Man.
Oh, my.
And
that's commitment.
Rowdy went as Thing 2. Everybody else just rocked up in their standard pre-game
Is it
drip.
bad that I had to ask my kids? I said, what does Thing 2 mean?
Yeah,
am I just
that
old?
is bad.
But he can do whatever he wants. He can wear whatever he wants. The way he's playing right now, he can come in, I don't care, whatever.
Yeah, most definitely.
Awesome.
Also, Kyle Adnam, quick shout out. First Phoenix player to reach 100 games for the organisation yesterday.
Going well, Kyle.
Yeah, shout out to him indeed. Thank you so much for watching. As always, thank you to TCL Mobile, 2K23 and UPCOZ. That's it from us.
See you next week.
Peace out.
This is a co-production by News Corp Australia and Closer Sports.